And we are live, baby. And we are live once again. And we welcome everyone to Project Awakening, where we dig inside your mind and correct the errors that's been taught and been forced upon you. We're not saying we know everything, but we are saying we can correct that religious aspect. We can definitely correct that. Okay, so right now we have we have a young brother on the panel tonight, and we want you to introduce yourself, and we're going to explain your religious background, and let the people know and let the viewers know that you're interested in expanding your mental capacity.
Okay.
And also let the people know your age too, because this is very important.
Okay.
Because once you get it,
no excuse for anybody not to get it.
It's over once you get it. Once you know the truth at a young age.
Don't be surprised if you start looking at people different and listen to people say a little bit more. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you're gonna start noticing when you start listening to people. You're gonna start reading between the lines of everything they say.
Well, my name Deontay. I'm 19. I grew up Christian.
You ain't got really grow up in the church. Too much into it. Just just something brief. Man.
Yeah.
This brother and I, me and him, attend the same organization. You can say, corporation. But we work with each other. So I myself dragged him on into Project Awakening, and the brother seems my perception of the brother is a very intelligent brother. So I know that with the knowledge that I can pass on to him, he would definitely dodge the lies and all the deceit information that is given to
a lot of friends too. FYI, I think you're crazy at first when you start actually showing them actual facts. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna alienate a lot of people, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, you'll have a different perspective on everything. Never be the same.
Well, Kufu, while I send out these links to these people, go ahead and just introduce yourself to him and be brief. I don't want to do because we're gonna go by category, but we're gonna be quick because his brother gotta go to work in the morning.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm Kufu. I'm a strong believer in knowing your culture and know where you came from, because that breeds basically identification. So in other words, if you know who you are, you know where you come from. You won't see the next black man as just the next black man. You'll start seeing him as somebody closer to you versus somebody just another person on the street. You know what I mean? You'll talk to the person a lot differently because you know that they're part of you and they came from where you came from. They have the same history that you have. You'll talk to them different. You'll look at them different. You'll act different. You know what I'm saying? First, you're more likely to go out your way and help your own people now because of what you know versus what you didn't know. You know what I mean? So, for instance, you may see an old black lady struggling to get up, do something, right? And you probably go out your way just to help them because you know what she means to our community. You know what I mean? Versus you just seeing an old lady helping the street and just going, all right, I see you. I'm gonna just keep going, minding my business. It's all about identity and identification. It's like, for instance, when you go to Mount Pleasant, or you go to Langley Park, all you see is all Spanish stores, all Spanish everything. No English writing nowhere, right? Because they made their own community. They identify with each other. So they'd rather go to an El Pollo Loco than go to KFC. So that's the person who made a Pollo Loco has their culture within it. So they can identify with their culture. So I'm going to go shop where my culture is versus going to shop somewhere else. I mean, if we black people get that same mentality, we'll start shopping with our own people, making our own community again a little bit stronger, hopefully a little bit smarter, versus us going to KFC, McDonald's, and all that bullshit all, you know what I'm saying, all over the town. So I mean, that's knowing yourself helps you. It breeds the economy for us. You know what I'm saying? It helps us spend our money, control our money, because we know where to spend our money from that point on.
I got you.
Okay, because we really want you to understand, man. We really want you to listen, because we got some good information for you, and we also going to show you some things too, and we're going to use logic. We're not going to make anything up. We're not going to just hear what someone else said to justify what you can't understand and what is not logic. We're not going to do that. We're going to deal with straight logic, how it is. Okay? So,
yep.
You know what killed me? And for instance, today, what happened to us today when we was at work, right? And
yeah,
you know that black people, we are so passionate about what we talk about. We were speaking about God, and the other brother, the Muslim brother, came up, right?
Yeah.
The Muslim brother came up, was like, man, I got something for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And which I already know, when he said Allah, I already knew where he was coming from. I already knew his mental capacity. You know what I'm saying? I already knew. So then I invited the brother to Project Awakening, to the podcast. And you know what this brother told me? He said, nah, man, I don't want to get into all that. That right there castrates you right then and there.
And it also breeds a line of separation right there between black people. Because now you don't see me as another black person. You see me as a Christian or atheist or something like that. So you automatically draw a line between me and you already. So you already just destroyed us right there. Just a few seconds of conversation, you've already destroyed our whole community right there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Just by reclaiming someone else's identity. You know?
Think of it like this, right? If you're black, if you're an African in America, right? Or African American, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're in America, right, they literally sit you down in school 8 hours a day and tell you in history class, I took your language from you. I stole you from your homeland, and I did all this bullshit to you. And you sat there and you accepted it. And them telling you, you never thought in your mind, all right, well, I know that you took this shit from me. Why don't I just go get the shit back? You're in the age of information that people don't want to know shit. It makes no sense to me. Like they tell you in school, throughout your whole school lifetime, that we took all this shit from you. We even took we took you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't take just the organic, inorganic material of your continent. We took you too, right? And instead of people realizing that and understanding that, you still go along with the bullshit. You know they gave you Christianity to control your ass during slavery. You know they gave it to you. They made movies and books telling you that, right? But you still believe in the same shit. It makes no sense to me.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. Go ahead. I want you to go ahead and
I get what you're coming from. Where you coming from about trying to get back and our languages that was stolen from us and stuff like that. But I always, say to myself, and like when I'm bubbling in stuff on tests, what do I want to be labeled as? African American, Black African American. I see myself as an American. I know that I have African ancestry in my bloodstream. I know that's where we come from, but I've never been African.
So let me ask you this, right? If a Chinese man and a Chinese woman, right?
Yep.
Born in China, raised in China, they both get together and have a kid. Well, they both get together and the woman gets pregnant, right? The woman says,
Yep.
I don't want to stay in China no more. I'm going to go to Russia. Better yet, instead of Russia, let me go to the deepest part of Africa and have this kid, right? What does that make that
Yep.
kid?
The kid's still Chinese. I understand.
Okay, so now with that, what you just said, right? If someone comes to your homeland, steals you, takes you to another land, and you have a baby on that land, what does that make you? Person of that land, or still?
But what you saying is,
Mhm.
you saying if my parents
Right.
were, you know, born in Africa or, you know, wherever it may be, we talking about your ancestor, his ancestors, my ancestors.
Mhm.
We talking 400 plus years ago.
So
My grandmother never set foot in Africa. Her grandmother never set foot in Africa. All they knew was America.
but neither did that Chinese baby. Never stepped foot in China, but still a Chinese baby, ain't it?
That baby, okay. Case in
And
point right there. That's a case point right there. That's just like saying Mexicans crossing the border.
Mhm.
In Mexico coming to America. Your parents could be Mexican and they, you know, escape to America and be granted citizenship on an American. They have Mexican heritage and Mexican blood, and we know for a fact they Mexican. American soil, which makes them an American.
I think you're getting two things confused. You're getting confused with origin and nationality. So for instance, if America so happens to change its name to a dumb fuckian, you'll be a dumb fuck. Because
I couldn't hear you say that one more time.
But hold on, but that's your nationality because that's where you're born. So if China changes its name to, I don't know, Black America, all the Chinese people will be called Black Americans. You see what I'm saying? So nationality is not what I'm trying to get at. It's where you're from, where your bloodline comes from. Like like I said, if a Chinese man marries a Chinese woman, that Chinese woman decides to have that baby in Russia, that baby is still a Chinese baby. It's still Chinese. It's not Russian. I mean, nationality is Russian, but originally, you can see it's a Chinese baby. So if an African gets stolen and taken to America, and that African didn't have a baby on that American soil, nationality, you can say, okay, it's an American. But originally, it's an African child. It's still an African, no matter what continent, country, or wherever you want to place it. It's still an African baby.
I understand.
Okay. All right.
Just don't nationality. Nationality gets people messed up because nationalities, any country can change their name to any. Like for instance, Sudan. Sudan. When they broke off into North and South Sudan, everybody's not North Sudanese anymore. They're either North Sudanese or Southern Sudanese now. You know what I mean? So nationality names can change.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
What do we call white Americans?
What do you mean? The white Americans.
They're Americans.
Now, if you want to talk about where they originated from, good luck.
But what would we call a Caucasian man, a American? Right? We wouldn't label him as
we would call a Caucasian,
even though their ancestors.
Speak up a little bit. I can't hear you because the thing a little bit down.
We don't refer to white or Caucasian people as European Americans, but we refer to black people as African Americans. When Europeans migrated from England, Spain, all these different places and countries to America, right? And years and years and years later, we refer to them as Americans. Years and years later, we're still being labeled as African Americans. Same thing, just the difference. We don't.
Thanks to Jesse Jackson.
Right.
We don't call white Americans European Americans. I just don't want to be labeled as African American. I know for a fact that I have some African lineage in my, blood.
Bruh, you can walk into Africa right now and disappear.
Huh?
You can walk into Africa right now and disappear. So okay, here's the thing, right? When you say it's kind of like what you're saying. You're genetically different from me. You know what I mean? When you say you're no longer African, you're saying you're genetically different from me. Like we have no connection at all. Like I'm a dinosaur and you're the lizard. That's what you're saying. So
I'm not saying,
because after generation, you're saying you changed over generation to generation. That's what you're saying to me. Like I'm the dinosaur and you're the lizard. You're the evolution.
Yeah.
Evolutionary result.
Yeah, we have evolved. We have evolved.
How did we evolve? So where do you think I'm from?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, you seem like if you were born in America. I can't, just guess or assume.
But you see the problem
you
having?
You were born in America.
You see the problem that you're having? You caught up in nationality again. I'm Nigerian. I look just like you. You wouldn't have known if to the side have told you, right?
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in nationality. Now that nationality will mess you up. Yeah, you're an African in America. Your people were stolen. Like for instance, if a zebra zebras are going to keep having zebras, right? Zebras are not going to change, right? So yep. I don't understand how an African would somehow change as it keeps having Africans. How does that change if you keep having Africans?
No, I'm not saying that I'm not African. I would just, prefer to be called an American, not an African American.
I mean, but all right, I see what you're saying, but you because you're beholden to the country that you were born in. I can understand that. Oh, go ahead. You gotta understand that you were brought here. You didn't come here. We're the only race that didn't come here willingly. The only race on the planet that didn't go literally. We didn't go anywhere literally. I mean, willingly. So to consider yourself, I mean, nationality, yeah, you're born here, yeah, you're an American. Okay, that's fine, but you're an African. Your bloodline did not come from America at all. A Chinese man's bloodline, if they're Chinese, like for instance, in 1800s, when the Chinese came over here and they built the railroads in the West and all that stuff, they were still Chinese people. Now, today, you can call them American, but you go to a Chinese person in California, in Chinatown, they'll tell you they're Chinese. They're not going to tell you they're, you know what I'm saying, I'm Chinese American or I'm this and that. No, I'm Chinese. You can see my eye, you can see my complexion. I'm fucking Chinese. I'm nationally, I'm born American, right? But my ethnicity is Chinese. Like naturally, you're born American, right? But your ethnicity is African. When you check on that dotted line, they don't check. You don't check white, do you? You don't check anything else. You check black of African descent.
All right. So that's it. All right, go ahead and say your last bit, Tay, and we're gonna move right into the God thing.
Just wanted to, chime in. If I was to go to any country in Africa right now, would they accept me as an African or would they accept me as an American? Would I be considered a citizen or a tourist?
Because of how you want to consider yourself. Like I said, you can go to Africa right now and disappear. Ain't nobody gonna look at you twice like, what the fuck you doing here?
Right. What the fuck is that?
Like, they ain't gonna look at you that. Like, for instance, when I went back home, right? When I went back to Africa, right? The white people there are shook. They're literally shook in my country. Like, they stayed in one area by themselves in the airport. They didn't wander around, nothing like that. They stayed in one little fucking area because they know they go out that area, something's gonna happen to them. They don't like you. You know what I'm saying? They don't like you. They got names for you. Even in Ace Ventura, right? They called him Iquensawacha, right? White devil.
Yeah.
That's a real term that we use for white devil people. I like it. The shit is real. You know what I'm saying? You are an African in America. Your bloodline does not come from America any shape or form, period. Like a zebra doesn't change after it keeps having children to a giraffe.
That brings me something to what Malcolm say. He say you can't stick kittens in the oven and make them biscuits.
Right. Don't work like that. Genetics doesn't work like that.
All right. So let's get into this work. Now, the young brother is caught up. He uses. You would say that you're a firm believer in the Bible, right? You would say that the Bible is meant for us to understand, so we can have a better life and to have a guide. Or what people like to say is the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into and Kufu, I want you to explain how it was a matrilineal system before a patrilineal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, everything started from the female. Period.
So
Let's just say it all.
I want you to I want to first ask you, do you believe that the entire Bible or just half of it?
It ain't for me.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You believe
Say
in
that one more time.
half of it.
Do I believe in the Bible?
The whole thing was just half of it.
Yeah,
I believe that God left manuscripts for man to follow. That's what I believe.
You think a God who knows everything and can see into your heart would leave anything in writing?
I believe that he gave everybody a choice when he made earth to live righteously or to go down the wrong path.
Okay.
I believe that the Bible is a guide on you making right or wrong choices.
So let me ask you this, right? If I slap you, right, you're gonna slap me back, right?
Yep.
Common sense would tell me not to slap you, right? Right?
Common sense would tell you to slap me?
Common sense would tell me not to slap you, right?
Yeah.
You need a book for that?
I couldn't hear that last part. Say it again.
Do you need a book for that?
No.
Exactly.
That's the same thing.
You know what I'm
That's the same thing my man said earlier at work. It's not, the book isn't, telling you walk straight, walk right and left.
So what's the commandment?
Up and down. It's the book is telling you, just what I explained to him earlier. You can teach a baby. You don't have to teach a baby to mumble words. You teach a baby how to speak and pronunciate and how to use those words correctly. That's basically the same thing the Bible is doing. It's not telling you how to walk, how to talk, how to do this and that, etc. It's giving you guidelines and pathways on how you excel at those things. And it's also giving you stories of how people who may or may not have existed way back when lived following the Bible, whether they did something righteous or they did something wrong. That's all it is. It's not, oh, you do this or you do that.
So what's the commandments for?
You do this, you do that.
So what's the commandments for?
Just any old laws.
But it's telling you not to do stuff.
Just any old laws.
No, there are 10 specific laws that tell you not to do something. There are specific laws. They tell you don't kill.
Everything you've learned throughout life had laws. Every place you've been had laws. And shit you had to abide by. It wasn't
but
just
those
the
are laws
Bible that had started laws.
You're right, but the Bible's giving you laws for life, right? It's not giving you laws to walk and crawl, like you said. It's giving you laws to make yourself better. So if you're telling me not to kill somebody, you're giving me an order, or you're telling me don't do that because this will happen. But common sense tells you, I mean, if you kill somebody, I mean, you're gonna feel bad about it. Most 9 times out of 10, you're not even gonna think about killing somebody. But even if you do, you're gonna feel bad about it, and you don't know the repercussions of it after you do this shit. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't need a book to tell you that. That's kind of common sense.
And that's what I'm
You're right.
And that's what I'm saying, Brother D.
But we have to also put into perspective that when the 10 Commandments came out, or was, you know, when we heard about it, that's the what, second or third book in the Bible, which is the Old Testament, which is still around us early civilization. There were no huge laws. Anything went on.
No.
Senseless deaths. I mean, now we know, of course, today we know that, you know, you go to jail. Killing is wrong, you go to jail. Adultery is wrong. We know all this. We know all these things. Back then, who was what policemen were there, you know, to say, or what judge were there to, you know, say,
But
you do this, you getting 25 years to life.
It's all right. That's a good point.
Who was there to say all that?
Here's the thing, right? That's why I say you gotta know your culture, right?
I believe. This is my perspective on it. I believe that the 10 Commandments were given. Say it one more time.
All right. Here's the thing, right? Is when I say you got to know your culture, and when you have a policeman, a judge, and all that stuff, that means you have a corrupt society, right? There's a lot of corruption in your society, whereas you have to police your people and create institutions where you can hold these people that you deem that are unfit to be in society, right?
Yep.
Now, if you look at Egypt, Kemet, right? You don't see any jails there. You don't see any chains on anybody.
Nope.
You don't see none of that shit. You don't see policemen, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is, it wasn't. I'm not saying the society was perfect, but we weren't so corrupt that we had to have jails and policemen and stuff like that. So all the stuff you're saying, don't do this, don't kill, don't. That means you were in a corrupt society to even make those laws in the first place. So all I can say is we're following European ideology versus our own African ideology, and we wonder why stuff is messed up. Is because we're literally programming ourselves, giving ourselves the wrong program on purpose. So that's what, like you said, what happened to you with the job when the Muslim guy came into you, he gave himself that program. So you shut yourself off from your original program. Your original programming is, you see me, I'm you. You know what I'm saying? We both have the same thing in common. You got the ame skin I do. You got the same hair I got. Because you reprogram yourself to think, oh, I'm a Muslim, and you're not. You don't believe what I believe in. You're not part of me. You don't belong where I belong. You don't follow what I believe. So you're an outsider. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta like seriously reprogram ourselves back to our original programming. This religion shit is not for us. I mean, we're not having a conversation about something that doesn't really concern us. Whatever.
And our original program, it sounds crazy when you hear it. You know, when you tell people, it's like, what?
Right. But I mean, like I said, you can go to Africa right now and disappear. Straight disappear. And
okay. Go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead.
All right, so D. So let me tell you.
Yeah.
Are you afraid to tell your parents that what they've taught you was a lie? Because I had to go through that too. When I got into the knowledge, I had to tell my parents. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell my grandparents, like, that stuff was a lie. Back then, grandma didn't have these resources that we have today. So that's why it takes you to get the information and not believe. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have
I get where you're coming from. I understand.
Because you can't tell me anything about nobody in there. You don't have no dates. You don't have no there's many contradictions in the Bible.
What can I ask a question? What's your definition of God? Just so we can, I guess, get a better understanding of where you come from.
Say it one time.
What's your definition of God?
What is God?
What's your definition of God?
All seeing, all knowing, all creating, overseer. It's really not one definition that I have for him. It's just, you know, the Omega, you know, the creator. That's my definition, and you know, that's my, you know, opinion of what I perceive it to be, because I don't want to call him a him or her. I don't know. Me and Jace talking about that earlier. I don't, you know, want to get into if it's a he or she. I know it's a thing.
That's good.
And my thing is with religion is, let's take your brain, let's take your eyes, let's take your nervous system, let's take your stomach, your digestive system. You telling me, you know, a Big Bang Theory created that wasn't something that was, you know, thought out? The way you breathe through your nose, through your mouth, how you have a nasal passage, how you got 2 ears, 1 mouth, 1 tongue, how you have to use your tongue to speak. You haven't thought about, have you ever thought about, well, damn, was this created from meteors and rocks and gas and whatever the fuck else is out there in space?
Something
My nervous came from that. I can't believe that. It just seemed like, it seems too well thought out to be created from a damn, you know, rocks. I mean, if you was building a science project, and the science project was A+ in every motherfucking category, it came from a motherfucking first grader. You'd think that shit came from I mean, this is a grade A, you know, Einstein type of project. You wouldn't think it came from a first grader or, you know, a 5th or 6th grader. You gonna think that shit came from top notch. You gonna think that shit came from, you know, somebody or something with a lot of sense and really smart had to create that. Think about that, you know, to make that science project, you know, win and, you know, pop and work. So when people say Big Bang Theory, oh, science this, science that, okay, I'm not denying science. Science is real. But you're not gonna sit here and tell me that a code or a fucking my brain or my heart, the way it beats, the way I go to sleep and wake up in the morning, that just it's all science, that I just came about. That all these my reproductive organs just came about. My organs in my body just came about. It wasn't thought of. I just, you know, I think about shit like that. I think about shit like that.
All right, so you're saying your definition of God is basically one that created everything.
Yes.
So my thing is, okay, that's fine. I can understand everybody believes there's a higher power, right?
Yes.
But how are you so sure that higher power created you?
That's a valid question.
Because
I don't know. That's the, you know.
I mean, my thing is, right, when people say God, I mean, I don't have the same definition of God as you. So,
What's your definition?
well, all right. So, to help explain it. All right, say you have a brain, right? Your brain, right?
Yep.
You have the left side of your brain and you have the right side of your brain.
Yep.
Neither one part by itself makes the brain, right? You just have a left hemisphere and right hemisphere, but together they make the brain. So I believe that energy, that consciousness, is that brain. It's neither male nor female, but both at the same time. That's what I believe God is. It's not. I don't know. It's not a personality. You know what I mean? It wants to have an experience wherever the experience is. That's what I believe it is for. Well, that's what I believe God is. But when I hear people say, "Oh, God created me," God did this. I mean, me, it's like, all right, can you prove that? I know you can't. I mean, I know you can't prove it, but it's like, okay, I know my mom and dad created me, but you want me to believe some guy in the sky created me when I know my mom and dad created me. So I'm asking, how does that God in the sky translate all the way down specifically you?
I get you. And I'm not one of those type of Christians who going about oh, God did this and that and this and that. All I like to say is, all I like to talk about is, God created man. God gave man a woman. They did what they did, and that's how it started.
So you believe the man came first?
I know God, I know God didn't snap his fingers and that motherfucking disappeared in my mother's stomach. I know that my father and my mom laid down and conceived me. That's where the science part comes in. But when I think about science and I think about religion, it goes hand in hand. We know science is here. We know science is real. That God thing, that's faith. And it tells you that in the Bible. It's faith, that big word, faith, Faith. That's what you have to have. You have to have some type of belief.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right? So if I say that I believe the sky is red, what would you think? What would you say? I believe the sky is red. It's not, right? You can look up and see the sky is blue, right? So does the belief make you 100%?
No, but I mean, what you said right there.
You can apply that to anything. It doesn't really matter. I'm just using the sky as an example, but you can apply that to anything. I can believe this, the floor is purple. It doesn't really matter. But a belief does not make it 100%.
Is a yeah.
So faith is predicated on belief. So if your faith is predicated on belief, and your belief is not 100%, the hell are you believing in?
But who's to say it's not 100%? Do you know? Do you honestly know for a fact it's not 100%?
Yes, I do.
How?
Proof. For instance, right?
Explain.
They say Jesus was real. They say all the characters in the Bible was real. What proof do you have?
I like this question. Well, I like this because I get into this all the time. They say Jesus wasn't real, or he never walked this earth.
What proof do you
have? I'm telling you, if we all been to school. You read them history books, them world history books. Jesus walked the earth.
No, he didn't.
It's in the history book. Jesus walked the earth.
No, it's not. There's no history book on this earth that would tell you Jesus walked the earth. The only thing that tells you that is the Bible. So I'm waiting for your proof.
You want to bet?
I bet my life on it. What you got to bet?
I bet my life on it too. It's a Roman king or a Roman emperor. I don't know his name, but
you already made your mistake
about it.
There.
Huh?
You already made your mistake right there. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a Roman emperor, and when he I forget his name, but the time period he was alive, he put Jesus on trial, and they sent Jesus away to be crucified.
Nah, you're thinking about Pontius Pilate. That's what you're thinking about. And the Roman emperor, that was the emperor around his time was either Tiberius or Augustus. And they didn't write anything about Jesus, anything. They only wrote about, at best, a Jewish uprising. But that had nothing to do with Jesus.
Okay. Ho. So Jews uprising. In the Bible, it said, in the Bible, I'm going to go to the Bible, then I'm going to come back to the history books. In the Bible, it said Jesus came and started preaching his word, and the Jews didn't like that, so they went to the Romans to try to have him crucified for false preachings in the towns. Now, and if it tells you in the history books that there was a Jewish uprising, what were they uprising about?
All right, so here's the thing, right? First of all, there was no such thing as Jews back then. That's number one. There was no such thing as Jews back then. You might want to do your research on that. Number two.
Okay.
Number two is you have no written evidence. Most people try to quote Josephus, but Josephus wrote his books decades, almost a century after quote unquote Jesus' death. And he also got quote unquote accounts from people who were born 60 to 80 years after the guy died. You understand? So you can't really use Josephus. So you really have no written or archaeological proof that this man ever walked the earth, let alone anybody written in the Bible walked the earth. For instance, they say Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, right? That was impossible to do because if you cannot write 5 books, predict your death in the first 2 chapters, and then subsequently write the next 3 of them. You died in the desert before you reached the promised land, yet you go 3 or 4 more chapters after that. Makes no damn sense.
Valid point.
So, I mean, like, you have the timeline doesn't even match. You have no archaeological evidence. You have no written evidence, even from the surrounding cultures within Jesus's area, which we really don't know where Israel was, because Israel was not present-day Israel that we know today. So it's a lot of bullshit people have to sift through to understand that this guy never existed. The surrounding culture in Jesus' land didn't write about Jesus. I mean, I'm pretty sure if a man rose a man from the dead or walked on water or changed water into wine, I'm pretty sure somebody would have wrote about this shit. Apparently not.
Okay, let me ask you this. George Washington in the history books, right?
Yeah, he got his teeth, though.
He's in the history books, right?
He is.
You've never seen George Washington walk this earth?
Don't have to. We got his teeth. We got archaeological proof that he existed. We have archaeological proof that he existed. Not only that, we've got his house still standing there. So you can't say that the man didn't exist. He's still there. We have proof that he existed. What proof do you have?
Just because this goes back to European teachers. If you guys can put a label on Europeans could have made up this story. Okay, it's a house in Mount Vernon that they say is George Washington. You never seen George Washington step foot in their house. You never seen his wife. You never seen his slaves. You weren't born. You weren't alive. Give that outlook.
Right.
You read it in the history book and you see it. That's the key word. You see it. So automatically, okay. So George Washington was the first president of the United States, right? Okay. Born in Virginia. Okay, he has a house in Virginia, slave field, slave houses. Okay, this guy probably actually did exist. Because you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes see it, so it's telling your brain that it's real.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing I'm going off of, though.
Okay, his bones. Have you seen his bones?
In the museum, yeah. That's where I saw his teeth. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We've got archaeological evidence to show that this man lived, or someone resembling this man lived. We argue
in the history book, it tells you that Jesus walked the earth.
But what proof do you have? It's first, if you go to court, right? If you go to court and they say you committed a murder, and they don't have the murder weapon, you either did or you don't, but they don't have the murder weapon, so you go free. If they got that murder weapon, you get 30 years.
Now you know you probably done seen this in about you done heard the story of how Jesus died and rose in 3 days.
Yeah.
So I'm going off that.
What
That
proof
he
do
died
you have?
3 days.
You're going off a story. What proof do you have? They don't even have proof in Israel about him being locked up in the stone for 3 days and riding. Come on, man. Like, what proof do you have?
So you telling me right now, if I go and read any history book, any world history book, not American, world history book, that it won't tell me nothing about Jesus?
Good luck.
Hold on. I'll find something right now.
Go ahead.
Uh-oh, here we go. It's heating up. It's getting intense. Let's see what he's going to show.
And like I said, if you reference Josephus, then you know you got had.
All right. All right. Just had to give you some spooky music.
How do I show it in how do I show this?
Explain to them how he's split his screen real quick, guys.
Go to your if you're on your phone, I don't know how you can do it on your phone.
Is it a way I can show it?
I wonder what book he's about to show. I hope it doesn't have any biblical references or nothing like that. I would love to see some evidence. I know they don't have a shirt, staff, donkey.
Let me see. 93, yeah, that's after he was born, so that's not it.
Yep. He died at 33.
Let me see. What was the name of that guy? Pilate?
Pontius Pilate. I hope you're not using him. They ain't find nothing on him either.
Well, what I'm looking at right here is from the guy you told about, Josephus. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I know. Like I said, good luck.
But even, the crazy thing about it is that I was in school last year and I took a class and I read about Jesus in a history book, not a Bible.
What class was that and who was teaching?
It was Western Civilization 101.
Well, that's your mistake right there. That's Western civilization. You're in the wrong civilization.
They brainwashed me, huh?
Damn right. You're in the wrong civilization. You're in the Western world. They're on the East. We're in the West.
Yeah, but everything was happening over there.
So why the hell are you in Western civilization?
It was world history. It was a world history class.
Okay, so all right.
I was learning about Europe, Asia, Africa. I was learning about all of it.
So in that world history class, did they show you a picture of the map of the world?
Yeah.
Do you believe that map is accurate?
Of the world now? Of how the world looks now?
No, the map that they showed you in world history class, when they showed you the map of the world, do you believe that world map is accurate?
The only map that I seen in world history was the map of that I'm looking at now.
That's fine, but
Europe,
do you believe it's accurate? Is what I'm asking you. Do you believe that's 100% the way the world looks by that map that they just showed you?
I can't, give a definite answer on that because I don't know. Nope, I don't know.
Okay, so the map that they showed you is an incorrect map.
It is?
Right, it's an
How
incorrect.
so?
So if you like I said, if you know your continent, you know Africa can fit America inside of itself 3 times. So
Okay.
that should give you some perspective on what they're
How
teaching you.
big Africa is? Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got to like reprogram yourself because what they're teaching you in class is not it's not always what they're what I'm saying trying to get inside your head. They're teaching about world civilization, but they're teaching about Jesus, but they don't teach you where he came from. Like for instance, right? What would be the point of them teaching you about Jesus in a world history class?
What? No, it wasn't. It wasn't that they was teaching me about Jesus. They actually was teaching us about Europe and Rome and what was going on at the time. It was what was going on? It was before AD. It was close to the end of BC.
But then they made a
Closing
mistake.
in on BC. We
Well,
was going based on all the timelines. We started off from the beginning, and we was finishing off through AD. We was going all the way to modern time, and we just stumbled across Jesus because after Jesus died, that's when BC stops. Supposedly, the common era starts after Jesus dies.
See, I was taught that the common era started when Jesus was born.
Really?
That's what I mean. Like I said, that's up for debate. The guy, I mean, who's to really say when 0 was or when year 1 was or when what I'm saying? No one really knows. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah, no, I don't get too deep into that because I don't know.
now, well, we do know because the first civilization on Earth had a calendar. So if we were to follow their calendar to present day, we would have an exact time and day of what the hell we are. But because of European influence and European manipulation of time, we now have AB and BC, and we don't really know when that starts or begins. So
okay, question. I got a question for you. You know how if you look at a map today, back to maps. If you look at the map and you look at the edge of every continent, doesn't it look like they belong together? Like if you put North America on Europe or North America on Africa, that it would fit together like a puzzle?
Pangea.
Pangea theory.
So actually real
Now,
theory. I mean, it's not a theory, it's fact.
Yeah, okay. Now everything was together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know in the Bible, I know in the Bible there's a story about Noah and the ark and how God flooded the earth, rid of sin. He was disgusted with the people and rid of sin. Who's to say that after that flood, that wasn't when the continent split apart? That wasn't when the continent split apart? Who's to say that wasn't then?
Who's to say the flood even happened?
Huh?
Who's to say the flood even happened?
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, who's to say it didn't happen? Who's to say it did happen, but who's to say it didn't? Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it make a little bit of sense? If you put the story together and you think about it, so God flooded the whole earth. He flooded the entire world. In the Bible, it says the world was covered in water, was flooded with water. Pangea, all the continents were together. So there was no North America, no Asia or Russia. It was all one. So who's to say when it flooded and broke apart, that wasn't from Noah's Ark or from the story of Noah?
Well, listen to what you're saying for one thing, right? Okay, so what you're telling me is several things. One, you're telling me God fucked up, right? That's number one. You fucked up. Number two, you
fucked up.
You fucked up. Number two, you're asking me to believe that 8 people then repopulated the earth, right? Number three, you're asking me to believe that somehow these 8 people got since apparently according to you, Pangea was there. So you're telling me all the animals on Pangea came on that boat, I don't understand how the hell that would be possible. And then what you're telling me is that because of this flood, then Pangea broke apart and we have continents or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that there was no flood because we all know that the poles shifted at one time. So it did cause cataclysms or catastrophes across the earth, right? We have geological proof of that, right? Proof,
Yep.
not a story. We have geological proof. But the first previous points, I don't understand. I mean, how do you even rationalize that?
It's just a theory.
But theories are not facts. Theories are just a good guess. That's all they are. Theory of evolution is a good guess. Like, I mean, you can't possibly believe 8 people repopulated the entire planet, let alone 2 people. Like, come on, man. Seriously? Then you believe the man came before the woman, which science proves the woman came before the man? I mean, like I said, I mean, you got to reprogram yourself. I mean, it's a lot of bullshit that you're already programming yourself to believe the bullshit. I can already hear what you're telling me. Like, you got to reprogram yourself because the man did not come before the woman.
When it comes to that, you know, male and female, man come before woman, come before man. Give me some history on that because I've never really thought into that. I never really got into that. So give me a background on that. I need to hear that.
All right, well, okay, well, it's not really history. It's more science than history for real. All right, so for instance, the oldest mitochondrial DNA is found in Africa, and that mitochondrial DNA belongs to a woman. Right? So
yep.
So that means that the oldest being or oldest mitochondrial DNA comes from a woman. That's how you trace bloodlines, or when you have genetic markers, you trace that back to the woman. So that means the woman came first. Science has proven that the woman has come first. Then you wonder where did the man come from? All right, so women have on their bodies called the Bartholin gland. The Bartholin gland is an asexual reproductive organ on a woman. All females have it, whether they know it or not. They got it. So we males are mutants. We're the genetic anomaly of a female. So a female has XX chromosome. We males have the XY chromosome. We got our leg cut off, so that made us male. So that's just science. I mean, that's not really something you gotta.
Okay, so you just told me that science tells you that the first person created, or
the oldest
person create
black
on
woman.
Earth,
Right,
was a black woman,
right?
Which is basically the same as saying she was the first on Earth, right?
You can say that, yeah, she was the first, the only. Actually, if you want to say that too.
Okay, the only. So, no matter what way you put it, you believe that she was on Earth before anybody else. She started.
I know.
Reproduction.
I don't believe. I know. Can a man have a baby?
You know. Okay, no, a man can't have a baby. But what I'm saying is, if she was that, where did she come from?
Well, I'm gonna leave that up to debate. Like you can.
Hold on. So you can leave that up to debate.
Because I don't know. I'm straight up. I don't know how women reincarnated. Well, I got an idea of it, but I'm not like 100% sure of it. But I'm not gonna say that's what it is. But I do know for a scientific and proof 100% fact that the woman was first.
I like what you did there. I like that. My question for you is, what's the difference in your I don't know or you not being sure of where this lady came from, or this, you know, almighty black woman, mother of everybody.
I haven't researched that far back into our lineage. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's no answer.
But she's the oldest. She's the oldest in the beginning.
Right.
So there is nothing past her. Right.
I'm not saying there's nothing past her. But what I'm saying is the oldest mitochondrial DNA was traced back to a black woman. I haven't seen anything older traced back to anything else but that black woman.
Okay, even if you say that, what you have, you still don't know for sure where she came from.
No.
I still don't know for sure that Adam and Eve walked this earth.
A lie.
All I know is that it's in a book that supposedly that God wants me to believe.
Why would God need you to believe
that
something?
I choose to believe.
Okay.
You choose to believe that this woman is the oldest and the first being on earth. Based off of science and fact.
Of the African race. Let me be more specific. Of the African race.
Okay, the African race, the black woman of the African race. And you choose not to question where she comes from.
I didn't say I didn't question. I said I haven't done the research on it yet. I didn't say I didn't question. I say I'm familiar with, I got a theory of where she came from. But I didn't say I didn't know, or I'm not willing to do the research, or I'm just going to say, fuck it. Nah, I didn't say that. Nah, I'm going to find out. That's my purpose. I need to find out. I'm not just going to leave it up to the wind and just believe in a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, we have the oldest bones of our species, or our species is what, Lucy? And she's 3 million years old.
Lucy, like the movie Lucy?
Huh?
Lucy, like the movie Lucy?
Nah, the first Homo sapien is what they call it, Lucy. The bones is 3 million years old, right? And it was of a female. There are no older bones than that on the planet, that at least that they found. So that's further proof, or added on proof, that the woman was first. They haven't found no male bones older than that.
Okay. You know what? That's a good point. You know what I say to that, though?
Mm-hmm.
Say, you and Jason feel about the Bible, man-made Europeans, stories that may or may not be real, Jesus walking on water. There's no proof of that. It's not on YouTube, so I don't believe it. Who's to say that these people then these bones aren't man-made?
They aren't man-made. How can you make bones?
I mean, honestly, it's cool that they stick a label on it and say that it's science. No, it's cool that they stick a label on it and, say that it's science and that, it's this how many years old or however years old. But can you honestly say, oh yeah, I know that's right. I've seen that. I know that's right.
Okay, for instance, right? You know that you're the oldest race on the planet, right? You're the black. Everything comes from black. You know that you're the oldest race on the planet, right?
Yep.
So you know all life, quote unquote, started in Africa, right?
Yep.
Okay, then. So you're looking at proof right in front of you. Every time you see a black woman, you're looking at a million years walk right past you. So,
I get
you.
you.
Right in front of you. It's not like it's something you got to believe in or reading a book. You're literally looking at proof every time you blink your eyes at a woman. Looking at the first creature that walked the planet, that fertilized the planet, walking past you. It's not really something you got to debate on. Like, if you know that little bit of life.
Do you believe in dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs? They got bones, don't they? Got oil, right?
It just It was just a question.
I'm just saying. If you ask me, do I believe in ghosts?
You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
I done seen, you know, pictures of fucking bones that look like animals I ain't never seen before, man.
I mean, you got bones. They must have existed at some point.
All I'm saying is, do I want to believe everything the government or, you know, scientists say just because they say it?
Your own research.
Do I want to believe everything Christians say just because they say? Hell no. I choose to believe in what I believe.
But you believe in that Bible, though, right?
Why don't you find proof of your belief, or try to find proof of your belief?
Yeah, let me ask you something before you go, because it's getting late for you. Let me ask you something. I'm gonna share my screen. I want you to explain this. And this is in your Bible. This is in Ephesians 6:5.
Let me read it. Hold on. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity. Right. What?
Yeah, that's in your book.
That was in the Bible.
Yeah, it's in your book.
Yeah, it's in your book, man.
Slaves,
so you tell
obey
me,
your
earthly masters.
Now remember,
with respect and
fear,
and with sincerity of heart. Just
I think about what you just read, right? Now imagine if you're a slave, right? And you have a white person reading a book to you and telling you this is what God said. Obey your earthly masters. And you really do have a master, and you really are a slave. Now imagine the psychological fuck up that you just fucked your head up with. And you want to keep believing in the same shit that they use to control you? Imagine what your ancestors would start. Yeah. Imagine what your ancestors start hearing that and tell them that you gotta obey your earthly master. You're on earth looking at your master telling you gotta obey me because God said so.
And you said it's a book to live, right? I bet it is for a slave.
For a slave, yeah.
See, this is what whoever introduced you, or because whoever introduced you never seen this neither. Because whoever introduced you to this has only been navigated from the passage to only.
I'm gonna be completely honest with the both of you. I'm honestly in shock because I've never seen or heard anything like that in the Bible. Never.
I know.
So forgive me for being a little upset about that, just because, like I always tell you at work, there are false prophets and people who will come and
No, I ain't gonna let you get away with that one. I ain't gonna let you get away with
the word of God.
This is in your book.
In your book.
I didn't add nothing to it, and I didn't take anything away.
And they purposely put it in there on purpose. Wasn't a mistake.
So it's no false prophets. That you got to get out of your head, because if I open up the same Bible and it says God is everything, you seek Him in your heart, you're gonna be like, oh, yep, see, it's the truth. Now, when I run across this one, you're like, oh no, see, the false prophets can't do that. Take it for what it is.
Can't believe half of it, not disregard the other half. You either believe the whole thing, or you don't believe it at all.
That's it.
Like I said, if you knew your history, then you would see the evolution of the story of Jesus. He's just a story, and you would see the evolution of him if you knew where he started in Africa first. His story started in Africa.
I can't lie to y'all, man. That just hit me, bro. That Bible verse hit me.
And this is what the show is all about. It's about waking our youth up and just whomever, because once you can't be fooled anymore as a young brother, you will begin to teach younger brothers that we can't get in touch with and that you can reach out to them. You know what I'm saying? But right now, just like now, you don't have to take anything as what we're saying is truth. Just start looking it up. That's it. Start read the entire Bible. And don't be like, well, just because it's God, I'll allow him to wipe away the whole entire the whole entire world with innocent babies and infants are born, but they just say 8 damn people. But you're gonna say, oh yeah, just because it's God, you get to kill innocent babies.
Right, babies ain't do shit yet. you wipe them off the earth, no problem. Not a blink of an eye.
So this is the sickness that they put in that book to make you believe just because it's some God it's some man in the sky passing out blessings.
Let me say one more thing, one last thing, and I guess I'm gonna leave it. All right, this is what I say. Like, we Africans don't need this Bible because we gotta first of all look who wrote the Bible. Europeans wrote that Bible, and in the Bible, right? Look at all the bad stuff that happened to African civilizations in the Bible. I mean, for instance, just the story of Moses alone, all the plagues that happened to the Africans, even innocent Africans, died. You know what I'm saying? Just because a pharaoh, I don't know, well, a mythical pharaoh didn't want to let some people go. You know what I mean? I mean, the story is not true. Then look all the stuff that happened to David and Goliath. Goliath was an African. They want. I mean, like I said, you got to really read that Bible. Goliath was an African. What they're telling you is a little Jew boy, a little white Jew boy, can use a fucking rock and knock down the biggest of our kind with a rock and chop off his head. That's literally what the book is saying to you. If you look at it through African eyes, they're telling you, I just killed the biggest and strongest African with a rock in my hand and a sword after he died.
Okay, so are you saying that you believe in Goliath and not David?
I'm not. They're both allegorical stories. What I'm saying to you, look at the book of look at the characters. You know what I'm saying? All right, you have David, who's a Jew, right? Jews are white. There's no black Jew. You have Goliath, who comes from the land of Cush. Cush is modern day Ethiopia. Ethiopia is full of black people. Ethiopia means, in the Greeks who named Ethiopia called them blackface. That's what Ethiopia means. It means burnt face, right? So obviously Goliath was a black African. So the book is telling you that a white Jew boy killed the strongest black African with a rock in his hand. Then after he died, chopped his head off and became king. You really got to read that book through your own.
Yeah, but did you read that entire story?
I read the entire story.
The way you put it, you know,
that's what happened.
Kind of, fugazi and fuck.
That's what happened.
But if you read, it's more behind that passage than it's a story behind that passage. It ain't just the story. I was raised giggles,
I was raised picked up. I had to learn that
magical powers just shot in. The story goes, David, if you believe that I am the Almighty, that I am all powerful, you go down to the riverside, you pick up a rock, pick up 3 rocks, use your little the thing, whatever they call it, and you stand up to this guy, and you kill him.
Same thing I just said.
And after you do that,
you're looking at the story, but I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question.
Look at the characters in the story. Look at the characters in the story, and you will see that most of the stories you're going to read in the Bible are anti-African. Because when you read the characters, like I said, when you know where Goliath came from, when you study the character and you know where he came from, you realize this is a black African. Then you can get a visualization of the character that's in the book. So you look at David, you figure out what area he's from within the Bible. You pinpoint that, you find out this guy's white, pale skin. So now you have a visualization of a white pale skin against a black African. And you have a God who's choosing a side of the white pale skin to kill the black African. Did I miss something?
I get from, you know, seniority, white superior. I get where you're coming from now. You saying that, you know, always gonna lose to the white man. I get that.
No, what I'm saying is the people who wrote the book, the Bible is a political book for one, and they wrote the book is basically it's an anti-African book. Anything you see happen to bad people are basically Africans in the Bible. As I'm saying, you got to read the characters, not just the story. Read the characters in the Bible.
What I'm saying to you guys is this gonna be my last point tonight. What I'm saying to you guys is that we reading, it's not the original Bible. In the Bible, Jesus' name isn't even Jesus. His name is Yahweh. You guys say European names, Matthew, Peter, like Jesus' disciples that we learn about. David, all these, you know, European names you guys talk about. We don't know what their names were, you know, wherever they were located back then, way back then. All we know is when Jesus died, or in the book, what it says is when Jesus died, he wanted his disciples to go out, branch off into the world, and spread his teachings.
Why did he come to Africa?
And after that, who knows? Interpreted their writings into the Bible. You know how many wars were fought over words in the Bible?
Why would there need to be wars fought over words in the Bible? If your disciples went out to the world and preached the word of God, everybody should be under one umbrella. It shouldn't be any wars. So apparently the disciples didn't make it as far as they thought they did.
I couldn't hear that. Say it again.
I said, if there shouldn't be any war at all, because if your disciples went across the land and preached the word of God, everybody should be under one umbrella. But apparently, since they're having wars, I mean, the disciples didn't get as far as they thought they did. They definitely didn't come to Africa. At least the southern part of Africa, anyway.
Well, for wars?
Preach the word of God. Southern part of Africa didn't hear shit about God or Jesus. So, I mean, apparently, the only way it got down there is through force. It didn't willingly come down the southern part of Africa. It was through force. Look at even Islam. Islam was forced upon the African also. That was the first slavery of the African was well, not the first slavery of the African, but that was one of the first slaveries of the African was the Arab slavery, Arab slave trade. That was before the European slave trade. Most people don't even know that shit. That's how we Africans got Islam, because through the fucking Arabs. So, I mean, like I said,
I heard that before.
It's the truth. Like for instance, if you notice, all of North Africa is all Arabs. Even look at Libya with the slavery and shit now. It's happening again. I mean, it's not something you got to hear. It's proof happening before your eyes now in real time. The whole slavery, Arab slave trade is happening again. So it's not like you know what I'm saying? It's not like something you gotta believe in. Shit's happening. You gotta do your research on shit. That's all it is. I mean, if you don't have proof of it, I don't understand how you can say something happened if you don't have proof of it. If a criminal commits a crime and they don't
I'm not saying that the shit happened. I'm saying that I'm choosing to believe it's happened. You're saying you're not going to believe it happened because there's no proof. I'm saying that as a child who was brought up on it, and who's seen things, not just just shits and giggles. Oh, I went to church, I had my little communion, I got my right. I got my grape juice and my little bread, my cracker. I've seen things, that made my faith stronger.
But if you didn't have that, if you weren't taught that as a kid, and then you saw those things, then what would you equate that to?
Dumb luck.
All right, then that's reality. It's not because of a God in the sky. It's fucking reality. I'm sorry, but the shit is just it's reality. It's not because of God.
Brother,
God got me out this situation.
If I told you some of the things that I've been through and prayed for that has come to fruition,
but the things you prayed for that came to fruition, right? Who did it?
Yeah, I mean
Who did it? You or God?
That's the same thing Jason talk about. I mean, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is, if I get on my knees tonight and I pray to God and ask that He let me see, tomorrow, or He let me see another year, or He keeps me healthy, or He keeps me away from this person, or He keeps me away from. He takes these bad habits away from me, takes this weight off my shoulder. And I'm not doing a damn thing. I might still go and hang with that person. It's been situations where I can tell you this right now. It's been situations where I'll go hang with a person that I know I ain't got no damn business hanging with. And something will happen to them where they'd be like, oh, I don't want to fuck with this cat no more. They will leave me. When in all reality, I asked God for me to leave them. You see where I'm coming from? It'll be Him working for me without me having to do nothing.
I mean, if you want to say that's God, I understand how you can, because, that's just chance, or that's just something going on in someone else's life. It just so happened that it just coincided with what you just, quote unquote, prayed for. That's not really.
But how would you feel? How would you feel as a man praying for something and seeing it come to fruition? I don't mean just like praying for nothing, not praying for nothing like, oh God, I need this financial blessing. If you do this for me, I promise I'll stay away from this and stay away from that. I mean, Lord, just help me get on my feet. I ain't got nothing to eat, God.
But you're going to get yourself
nowhere to stay.
But you're going to go get yourself something to eat. But if you're hungry and you're homeless or whatever, you're going to go get yourself something to eat. You're going to go find shelter. And that God ain't going to do that shit for you. You're giving yourself your energy to something else that doesn't exist, that's outside of you. If you want something done, you do it yourself. If you're hungry, you're not going to ask God to throw a plate down out of the sky and give it to you. You're going to go get yourself some food. For instance, if you pray so much for all this bad stuff that people pray for, why don't they pray for $1 million? Or why don't they pray for world peace? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or how about they pray for Africa to be free or some shit like that? The reason they don't pray for this shit is because they deep down in their fucking mind, their common sense, they know that shit's not fucking gonna happen. It's not fucking real. Otherwise, you would have prayed for it.
For the point you just made about the homeless man. For the point you made about the homeless man. To go out and get food. Where they get the food from, big dog? Money.
They don't, but they'll go look for it, and they'll go find someone that's giving out food. You're not gonna just. It sounds like you're saying God is just gonna, have a catering truck pull up in front of you and give you just a whole bunch of food here. Nah, man, life don't work out like that. If you're hungry, you're gonna go look for food. Where they get that food from, you don't care because you're hungry. You're the one actively looking for food, not God. You are. God doesn't need to eat. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's got to be a time when we got to exercise, not to say you, but we got to exercise sense. We got to stop giving our power to something that doesn't exist with us. You got to learn to take responsibility for your own shit. If you fucked up, you fucked up. If you want to get yourself out that situation, you're going to do whatever it takes to get yourself out that situation. God is not going to help you. God is not going to.
I got you, man. I got you.
Get yourself out of jail. Shit don't work out like
that. All right, guys, let's wrap up. Okay, so Tay, I hope you got some great information. And in closing, I want to play this video for y'all, and we can cut it out.
We want to get back into this, another time. It's about that time for me to hit the sack.
Yes, indeed, brother. I'm gonna still play the video for the people who's watching. This is a Shaka
But
Zulu movie. It's a part when he started
yeah,
talking
my
about
eyes to
Christ
some
and stuff.
things.
This is different than the clip I sent you. But go ahead. You want to say some last words before you get out of here and go to sleep?
What you probably doing? Let's go to the videotape.
All right, I'm gonna roll the tape.
Say it again. I guess my last words would be, it was a very informing conversation. But I don't know. I'm just not at that point yet where I'm ready to, give up faith. But I do like to have these conversations. I'm gonna keep doing research because that Bible verse that you showed, man, it has opened my eyes. Because I don't think I'm no slave, and I ain't never had no master.
Oh, it's plenty more.
No book on.
You sure about that? That's your Bible. That's what your book say.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even go to church, though. I don't even go to church, man.
No, you don't have
to. The book ain't in the church either. I'm sure you got one right in the house.
I don't even go to church. You know where I really get my studies from, bro? Lessons. I grew up in a Christian school. Lessons, seeing things happening.
All
stuff like that, man. It wasn't me going to church.
I'm gonna tell you this
in the right way. It was just all lessons.
I was raised Roman Catholic, right? And I went to Sunday school, right? I still see through the bullshit. So, I mean, eventually you will, but it just takes time. That's all.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get it the first day. Just keep on searching, man. Yeah. It's not like today you're gonna because some people are afraid to let go because of what their parents taught them. They don't want to be like, Johnny in there. He's a devil worshiper now. He done let God go. But if you do the research, you already know that God is a made up character. He's a fictional character. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing. It's nothing. Can't a spirit take you nowhere. You gonna take yourself. So and with this video, man, make sure tomorrow, we engage the people, let them know. Come on to the platform and share their knowledge, or accept some knowledge that they never heard before, and let's see if it's truth or not. I'm gonna get to this video, man, while we still got this last viewer on hanging on. Yeah, I know you can either watch it or disconnect, brother. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. This is a powerful movie. I mean, it ain't no but a couple of seconds. Basically, they have flipped him over to that side game, and that's what flushed Derek Carr out. So many times that these guys that the pass rushers work together. That's like a quarterback and wide receiver. Splits have been so tight. They turned it down. He said, "What is that?" He told the white man, "What is that?"
Speak with our God.
It's a place where we speak with our God.
Who created it?
You gonna share your screen?
Huh?
You share your screen.
Say it again.
Share your screen.
Oh, it ain't shared? All right. I'm up here looking at it and shit. Huh? All right. This is where y'all know who that is. So he's gonna ask the white man, He asked me. He said, "What is that? Like, what you talking about?"
That there, what is it?
Remember, Africans didn't know nothing about this.
Right.
There's a place where we meet, but speak with our God.
Cristo. Oh, Cristo. You are lying, Phil. You told me that he died. How can a dead God speak?
Through the Spirit, Father. He speaks to your heart.
I am Shaka. The heavens themselves address me with respect. Yet I have never heard your O Cristo. Does he not wish to speak to me?
Perhaps you.
All right, fellas, it's about that time for me.
All right. That's tomorrow, brother.
And if
All right, take care, man.
All right, be easy.
All right,
when
you
will
too.
your O Cristo speaking again?
Tomorrow, Father. Tomorrow's his birthday.
Look,
It's a day of remembrance. That's all.
Your God has a birthday?
boom. Come on now.
Birthday.
Right, your God has a birthday. Okay. Well, all right.
It makes no damn sense, man. Even we knew that back then. Like, how the fuck is it?
Hey, well, that cuts it for the day. I'm glad everybody came in, got something out of something. Hopefully, the young brother opened his eyes and come
He
to
did that.
come to his logical sense and you know, wake up out of his deep sleep. You know what I'm saying? Kufu did a good job today. So basically, I'm a go ahead and name this Kufu breaks it down to the young brother. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
thank everybody for tuning in today. Appreciate it. If you could hit the thumbs up for us, subscribe, like, share, dislike, whatever you want to do. We appreciate your time. And we out. Peace. Peace.